September Pilgrimage of Light. September 1st, St. Giles, the Hermit. The month opens not with trumpet blasts, but with silence. In the forests of France, St. Giles chose the life of a hermit. His only treasures, a rough cloak, a cave, and prayer rising like smoke from his lips. He cared for a wounded deer that became his companion, until hunters stumbled upon him and discovered a holiness they could not ignore. Kings would later kneel at his hut, but Giles desired nothing except to vanish into God. His life whispers. Sometimes the most hidden lives thunder the loudest in eternity. September 2nd, Saint Ingrid of Sweden. The second day brings us to the north. Ingrid, a noble woman of Sweden, renounced her wealth to become the country's first Dominican nun. She founded a convent where prayer and charity lit up the cold landscape. Her path was not lined with applause but with surrender. The crown of Sweden weighed less than the veil she chose. She teaches, when the world offers gold, heaven offers something greater. September 3rd, Saint Gregory the Great. Now the silence breaks like thunder. Rome was crumbling, famine stalked the streets, and yet Pope Gregory became a shepherd to nations, a monk at heart, forced to lead the world. He guided with wisdom, music, and mercy. He gave the church the chants that still echo in monasteries, Gregorian chants, music that sounds like eternity itself. He sent missionaries to far lands, reshaped liturgy, and wrote words that guide us still. Gregory's greatness was not in ruling but in serving. His life sings, when the world is darkest, God calls forth shepherds whose voices sound like light. September 4th, Saint Rosalia of Palermo. In the hills of Sicily, Rosalia withdrew to a cave, a noble woman turned recluse. Centuries later, her relics were carried in procession during a plague and the city of Palermo was healed. Her story reminds us that sometimes holiness remains hidden until the world is ready to see it. The prayers of one forgotten woman became the salvation of thousands. Her cave became a lighthouse. September 5th, Saint Teresa of Calcutta. The streets of Calcutta, 20th century. A woman in a simple sari bent down to lift the dying from the gutters. Mother Teresa lived among the poorest of the poor, washing wounds, whispering dignity, and seeing Christ where others saw only filth. Her greatness was not in speeches, but in touch, in presence, in love that stooped. She reminds us, holiness has the smell of sweat, blood, and mercy. September 6th, Saint Magnus of Fussen. In Bavaria, Magnus preached Christ to pagan tribes, building monasteries where forests once stood. Legends tell that he battled dragon symbols of sin and darkness, armed not with weapons, but with prayer and courage. He brought faith where there was fear, light where there was shadow. His story says, every land, every soul has dragons to defeat, and Christ gives us the strength. September 7th, Saint Regina, virgin and martyr, a young woman of Gaul. Regina refused to renounce her faith. Her beauty caught the eye of a pagan governor who demanded her hand. When she refused, confessing Christ, he chained her and scourged her. In prison, angels visited her, filling her with strength. At last she was beheaded, her martyrdom turning her chains into jewels. Her voice echoes, faith worth dying for is faith worth living for. September 8th, the Nativity of the Blessed Virgin Mary, a birthday unlike any other. Joachim and cradle their newborn child, unaware that this baby girl will become the mother of God. The dawn of salvation begins in this crib. Centuries before Bethlehem hears angel songs, Mary's birth is quiet, hidden, almost unnoticed. Yet through her yes, eternity will break into time. September 8th proclaims, God's greatest works begin in hidden cradles, long before the world notices. September 9th, St. Peter Claver, slave of the slaves, Cartagena, Colombia. Ships of misery dock in the port, carrying shackled African slaves. The stench of death and despair fills the air. Into this darkness walks Peter Claver, a Jesuit priest who vowed to be the slave of the slaves forever. He met each chained soul with water, food, medicine, and baptism. More than 300,000 souls he cared for, not as numbers, but as brothers and sisters. His life shouts, love must go where it hurts most, or it is not love at all. An Augustinian friar known for his visions of heaven and purgatory. September 10th, Saint Nicholas of Tolentino. Nicholas prayed constantly for the souls of the departed, offering Mass after Mass, penance after penance, until people said he was a bridge between the living and the dead. He fasted on bread and water, yet fed multitudes with spiritual hope. The faithful believe his prayers released countless souls into glory. Nicholas shows us our prayers ripple beyond this life, touching eternity. The first steps of September's pilgrimage move from forest hermits to papal thrones, from hidden virgins to missionary giants, from the cradle of Mary to the slave ships of Cartagena. Each day adds a stone to the path, a voice to the choir, a light to the journey. And the month whispers, walk on. This road is not finished. The story deepens. Subscribe for more, then come back later today for the remaining parts.